Hey, Dr. Amber here. Today's episode is part of a 10-part series for my virtual book tour. Yes, I am going on tour virtually, and I'm having 10 amazing conversations with people that I know and I really admire around the topics of overwhelm, overstimulation, dysregulation, all in preparation for my new book, A Parent's Guide to Self-Regulation, a practical framework for breaking the cycles of dysregulation and mastering emotions for parents and children. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. This conversation I really enjoyed, and I think you'll get a lot out of it too. And also, don't forget to order your copy of the book. You can get it on Amazon, Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, literally wherever you buy books. Okay? Enjoy the episode, and we'll talk soon. Hi, everyone. Dr. Amber here, and we are here for the finale of the book tour, celebrating A Parent's Guide to Self-Regulation. I don't know about you, but I have so enjoyed this book tour. We've had 10 amazing conversations. Well, we've had 9 conversations. Now we're about to have the 10th and final conversation with Chelsey, and I'm going to add her in so that we can get. Let's see.
Oh no, Lord. Lord help me. There we go.
Hi, Chelsey.
Hello. You got to give me a second, woman. I was all set up. I had my earbuds in, and I was like, I cannot hear her. I cannot hear her. So here we are.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. Girl, you know what just
I
happened.
know.
I just got the light text from daycare. So I'm hanging in. I'm hanging in. 3 days left in the school year. It's fine.
No, I can only imagine. I feel like if I would get that text, I would be panicking as well. On top of like summer's coming up, 3 days of school left, Father's Day weekend. There's just like boom, 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 boom.
Thank you for that reminder on that. Thank you. Good.
That's where my head was actually before I logged in, and I got to get back to those plans.
Got it. Oh, an excellent reminder. Thank you for
No
that.
worries. Well, Chelsey, first, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to join me in this amazing book tour. I'm so excited I get to close it out with you because I think we're going to have a great conversation. And when I was thinking about what we should talk about, I felt like you were the perfect person to talk about summertime with, because I feel like you and I have even had personal conversations about the craziness of summertime, the craziness of end of school year, summer camps. We have had personal conversations about how wild the summer camp drama is here, especially in DC. So I think we should definitely talk about how to plan for that, but then also managing any overwhelm or dysregulation that might come with it too. But first, let's introduce ourselves because I'm sure that people know me. I'm Dr. Amber, clinical psychologist, and of course, author of A Parent's Guide to Self-Regulation. So if you haven't, definitely do so. But Chelsey, please introduce yourself too.
Sure. Hi, I'm Chelsey. I'm Dr. Amber's friend, which I think is how I got on here tonight. I am a connector, and I'm deeply passionate about education and equity, community, and the arts. I spent the first 15 years of my career in the arts nonprofit sector and have just recently shifted over to the DC education sector, which is where I'm at now. I'm a mom of 2, a 6-year-old who is about to be on his first grade. Like, it's giving me all the feels. And then a 3-year-old who will be joining her brother in school next year in pre-K 3. Shout out to everyone who will not have a daycare check to write every month next year. Cannot wait. We live in Brookland, so we're just down the street from Dr. Amber and her family with my husband, and then also our senior old lady dog, who I'm praying will just stay asleep for this whole thing. So.
Oh my gosh, so much that we have in common too, because I forgot, like, we both get to say goodbye to the daycare bill finally. So grateful for that. That's coming very soon. So excited. Also had a kindergartner graduate, so that's amazing as
That's
well.
even bigger. I feel like that's a big deal. Has he had his little promotion ceremony yet?
No. So C3 is pre-K 4. He'll go to kindergarten next year.
Oh,
You
okay. He's
have a kindergartner.
first grade. My child is like in big kid school. Because the DC cutoff is September 30th. So he just makes the cutoff. So he's like baby first grader. Yeah, I know. He's going to second grade. I know. My mind is blown as well. I know.
What? Okay, we'll follow up with that. What? Okay, I have a whole year behind. Oh my God. What? Where? God, I can't believe that. Okay, well, either way, summertime. Where should we even begin? Where should we begin?
Um, I don't even know. I feel like I have been feeling the overwhelm grow since January. I don't know if other cities are like this, but the signups start January 1. So I've been talking with friends about just summer and how overwhelming it already is since the new year. Um, I recently asked people like, how are you feeling? And it made me feel much less alone because everyone was feeling overwhelmed, lots of anxiety, and like a big smattering of total denial. This was like 2 weeks ago that people were just in complete denial that summer was coming. So, so that made me feel better. And also like this was a topic that a lot of people might need. I am just curious with your book or just with life, kind of how you are planning tackle all of these logistical challenges, the big transitions that are coming up, and the big emotions that I'm already getting like hit with from my kids with this big summer overwhelm kind of knocking at our door now.
Absolutely. That I think that is a great place to start. And I will share how we're doing it. You're right. Like I remember my husband like saying something about, oh, we need to be thinking about summer camp. And I'm like, yo, Christmas just ended. Can we not? Because I need a break. We literally just had the holidays and now we're talking about summer camp. Oh, you're absolutely right in DC. And again, I don't know how it is in other areas, but the madness around summer begins very early. So I know for me, something that I have started to do now that I have school age children and know that this is always coming, every year I kind of just anticipate like, hey, once we get around February, March, you're going to start to feel a little bit of anxiety, and that is temporary and it will pass. Like I really, it sounds funny, but I really kind of remind myself, hey, this is the time where we're going to be thinking about the future a lot. We're going to be preparing for things that are not happening now, but they will be happening soon. Yes, you're going to feel a little anxious. It's going to feel a little overwhelming, but guess what? We will get through it and it will pass. So that helps me to manage my big anxiety about what's going to happen for the summer. But I think luckily me and my husband, we really try very hard to plan ahead. I know that that's hard, and we'll talk about what happens if you have not planned ahead, but I think it can be really helpful to anticipate what you expect to feel, but then also do a little planning too. So really thinking about, hey, the summer is going to look very different. So what does that mean for our routines? Should we start thinking summer plans right now? Probably yes. And also, what other supports do we need to pull in to help us with that too? So, my son's going to be doing the DC summer camps this year, which is very helpful. Luckily, we got some spots
Okay,
because that happened.
that's very lucky.
Very lucky. Yeah. So we'll be doing that. But we always know that when that happens, typically he's pretty far out. So his school during the school year is usually really close, but summer camp will probably be about 30 minutes away. So we're already thinking about, and I'm kind of thinking, okay, the morning routine's going to have to look different because we all have to get to a different place at a different time. So really, again, anticipating how you might feel, really trying to manage it. Reminding yourself that it is temporary, and then having those conversations about what we need to do to plan ahead.
Yeah. How about with your kids? Because I don't know if it's just like
Mm-hmm.
there's a sense of the impending end of school year. So Wes definitely is like on the edge, big emotions all the time. So I guess similarly for how you're planning for yourself, how are you helping prep your kiddos for these big changes that are up ahead as well? And trying to like regulate that simultaneously.
Yep. I'm glad you ask that because I think we do have to still think about the kids. Like, yes, this book is about us, but of course, we're still going to be thinking about the kids. And we also want to know, okay, well, what will help them in this process too? You know, sometimes I've talked about modeling a lot throughout this series and in the book. And so, what I have found myself doing is kind of having this like out loud conversation with them about things that are coming, all the while knowing about your kids, but my kids, if I tell them something that's going to happen 3 months from now, they'll keep asking me until we get to the
Yeah.
thing, or they'll think that I'm talking about tomorrow. But, you know, even still, I'll just kind of casually mention, you know, oh, in the summertime, you're going to go to a summer camp. Or, you know, for Eden, because she's going to go to her big girl school in the fall, I'll, and, you know, Eden, next year, you're going to go to big girl school. And so gently planting those seeds about what's going to happen next so that we can have a little bit of dialogue about it, just to kind of help prepare them. And then sometimes emotions will come around. So, for instance, I know Eden, she has a best friend in her daycare right now, and we're already anticipating that them separating will be very hard. So,
Mhm.
and just having conversations about it. She'll ask, well, will my friend go to my big girl school? And we'll say, you know, I'll tell her no, she's going to go to her big girl school, but we will do this, or this is how we'll plan for you all to stay friends. And yes, you can remain friends. So I really like to just have the ongoing conversations with the kids about what to expect, what's coming up next, so that you can get a feel for what they might be worried about or what their concerns might be before they get to the moment.
Yeah. I guess if there are some of those particular concerns, how have you been addressing those? I'm thinking, in particular, we got one camp where Wes is going to do swimming, and he's already like, I don't want to swim. I don't want to go in the pool. So, like, how do you, I guess, try to tamper down some of those fears or make them feel more comfortable with some of these new,
Mhm.
summer activities that are coming up?
Yep, that's a good one. You know what? Wes and I might be similar because I too swim when
Don't want
I
to go in the pool.
was nervous. I remember even just smelling the chlorine. It would just like make me so nervous. But to that, so in this book, I talk a lot about how we have to learn how to sit with our big emotions, fear or anxiety being some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But then that allows us to be able to help sit with theirs too. And so I'm saying this because I do think it would be a good idea to help problem solve with Wes around, okay, well, what might we do instead? Or what are some things that might make you feel comfortable? But I also think it's so good to just be able to validate how our kids feel. And it sounds like for him, there's some fear, there's some worry, there's some discomfort. And we don't want to completely not address that. We want to just acknowledge, yeah, you know, sometimes these things feel scary, and I completely get why it's scary. So validating that, and then maybe thinking through, okay, well, how can we solve this problem? How can we make it feel more comfortable? What are some things that you feel like you might need? And so I think those two, validating the feeling, because we always want to let our kids know whatever they feel is fine, and we can help them hold it, but then helping them to do a little bit of problem solving and engaging them in that process
Mm-hmm.
too.
So you have quite the partner because you said Cedric was the one telling you to sign up for things and prepping for those routines with you, which is really great for you. I'm really happy for you. And my husband has a lot of wonderful, he cleans, he cooks, all of that. How, how do you suggest getting in alignment with your partner when it comes to kind of prepping for these different routines and the planning and everything that comes along with summer camps and total shifts in routine for the summer?
Absolutely. That's a really great question too. I will admit I'm very lucky because if it weren't for him, I probably would be the one like, hey, it's May and not sure what we're doing here. Um, but no, I yes, and so I'm actually gonna say it from the perspective of probably what he does for me, which is, of course, someone bring up the conversation, right? And so those of you listening, it probably is you, you know, thinking about this ahead of time, being the first one to think about it. absolutely bring up that conversation and have that dialogue with your partner, because I don't want this to be something that only one person is carrying. If you are partnered, right? If you're partnered, we want to bring your partner in, because planning for the summer, especially if there's summer camps involved, is a really big deal, a very big responsibility. So absolutely pull your partner in, let them know, hey, this is what's on my mind in terms of what's coming up next. Let's think about this together. So definitely communication, right? Like I think sometimes we just how important that is, but communication. If it's in your brain, make sure that it also is now in your partner's brain, because you're going to share it with them and let them know, hey, this is what we need to be planning for. I'm a huge advocate for, hey, let's have a weekly meeting
Mhm.
about this until we are comfortable with what's going to happen. And it doesn't even have to be about summer camp. I know that's what we're talking about today specifically, but if there's like a family trip coming up, or if there are big transitions happening in the family, or, I know my husband and I did this for when we were planning the kids' birthday parties. We would have a quick meeting every week about, hey, this is what I said I was going to do. This is what you said you were going to do. Where are we with that? That can be really, really helpful, to ensure that it's not just something that's in the hands of only one person and that person being responsible for everything.
Something that's worked really well for us, I put it in the calendar with my expectation. So I have like my own thing, and then I have like John with the kids, like making real clear what that like chunk of time means. Summer's just a whole lot of that, but I love the idea of the weekly meeting and making sure everyone's on the same page. Because even if it's in writing, even if you said it before, making sure it's heard again, I think is such an excellent tip. So yes, lots of that. Communicate, communicate,
And
communicate.
even what you said, I want to highlight the clarity, making sure it's clear. I don't think there's a such thing as over communicating when it comes to our partners or our family members or our support people. Um, you cannot communicate too much. Over communicate for sure, because I always want to make sure that it's clear. Things that are not clear or unspoken often go missed or often are misunderstood. And we want to really try to avoid those things as much as possible. So absolutely label it in the
I
calendar.
I think this was something I picked up when I was in Balance Working Mama with you, but like my belief that you should know something should not get in the way of me actually communicating that something. I like don't assume you know this thing, even though I think you should. And I'm gonna still probably hang on to that belief somewhere back in the back there, but we'll also
Yeah,
try to communicate that. So that has been real helpful, and I think I'm like 99% sure that came from you originally. So thank you for that. Um, all right, I know we're focused on overwhelm. I want to also honor that like the summer can be a time of a lot of joy too. So are there tips or ideas you have to make sure that especially those who are kind of taking on the burden of the overwhelm are also finding that joy either with your kids or without during this exciting time?
absolutely. Yes. And thank you for bringing that up too, because my gosh, we have to balance it. Like, we are absolutely going to feel some anxiety. We're going to feel some tension. We're going to feel some stress with the summer coming. But please have some joy too. We have to make sure that it's balanced. So, in my mind, the way that I'm thinking about this is we already can expect, the worry, the anxiety, all that. So, let's just go ahead and plan some joy so that we know that that's going to be there too. We don't want to leave that up to chance. We want to make sure that there's actually pockets of joy there. And I think a really great way to do it is to plan it, right? We're working so hard to plan the ins and outs of the structure of how the summer will be. Let's not forget to also plan in some of the fun, some
Mhm.
of the joy, some of and it can be as big as you want it to be, or it can be as small as it you would like for it to be. It could be planning a family vacation or a family trip, right? Or it could literally be, hey, every other day I'm going to plan to sit outside and just enjoy the quiet.
Mhm.
Whatever you do, making sure that you really make a plan for that. And it's perfect because we're already planning for a different set of routines, a different schedule. Let's fit that in for yourself too and for the kids. So please make sure that that's a part of your plan as you are restructuring and reordering what your day to day will look like for the summer.
Since we talked about joy, now let's talk about the other side, balance, right? So all of this planning, all of this preparation, all of this communication, I can guarantee you there will still be moments where I am like overstimulated, overwhelmed, and like lose it. So tips for those moments when they arrive, hopefully few and far between, because of the wonderful book I will get on Tuesday
Yep.
when it arrives.
Yay! Alright, it is Tuesday. Wow. So you said it perfectly. It will still happen, right? And I think that's one of the big takeaways from this book. And I'll show you all again for anyone's joining. We're talking about A Parent's Guide to Self-Regulation. You can order your copy and you'll get it on Tuesday. Um, there are so many tips and strategies in this book, and the reality is we are still imperfect people. We are still imperfect parents. We are humans, and so there will still be a moment where you maybe lose your temper or you are overwhelmed or maybe you miss the mark in your parenting. And I want everyone to know that, yes, that's going to happen. And no, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to break you. It's not going to break your kids. So, this is what I want everyone to do to kind of anticipate that, yes, something will. Something will happen, right? So in the book, there's this three-part framework called the PCR method. And you'll read all about it when you get the book, but it's essentially these three things that I want you to keep in mind to help you recover or rebound when you are feeling overwhelmed or really frustrated. So the P stands for let's get really practical about what help you need, what support you need. And we actually kind of already talked about that part. The P is I want you to think really strategically and very practically about, well, what are my triggers going to be for this summer? What support do I feel like I need to really get through the summer? How can I actually plan for the things that might worry me or stress me? In this book, actually, I just closed the page. I had it open, but there's this really lovely table where you can actually map out all of the triggers that you have related to home,
Oh,
health, relationships, and you can map them out for 4 weeks to really get a feel for what's happening. And I want you all to do this because it'll help you to anticipate what might stress me or lead me to feel overwhelmed, overstressed, burned out. So that's what the P is. Get practical about what do I need, what's going to stress me, what are my triggers, how am I going to plan for them. The C stands for conscious. And so this part is I want you to really get internal and reflective a little bit about, okay, I know what my triggers are. I have a support plan, but are there other things about the summer that may come up for me emotionally? And this can sometimes get really personal, but also really different for everybody. There might be some grief that someone is having to deal with over the summertime. Maybe the summertime brings up some old feelings of sadness around something, or maybe there that happens this summer that could be particularly hard. So really getting internal and really thinking to yourself, what emotions am I feeling that maybe have nothing to do with my kids and just something that I need to address and manage? And that happens. We're humans. It's okay. You know, I know for me personally, my father passed away in the summertime, and so always a reminder, just, thinking about that. So just being mindful about internally what's going on for me. How do I sit with that? How do I soothe myself? How do I calm myself for that? And then the last one is the R. And the R is my favorite. I feel like you'll like this. The R is let's get real and honest and just say, guess what? I'm trying my best. I have my support plan. I've learned my triggers. I'm doing the internal work. Now the rest we're gonna let go because we're gonna radically accept that, hey, we will get overwhelmed. Things will happen and it is okay. And guess what? If we make mistakes as parents, we can repair, we can apologize. We get to use this as an opportunity to teach our kids that I'm not perfect and they don't have to be either. So the R stands for radically accepting that parenting is hard and it's okay. It's okay if it's hard because we can get through it. We can do hard things. And these are also really good lessons for our kids to know that they can do hard things too.
yeah, I love that. I can't wait for my book. Okay. Yeah. I'm seriously so excited. And the timing is perfect. It's literally the day after DCPS lets out. So could not be more perfectly timed. I was like, I can't wait to read. I've already had people ask if there's an audiobook. So you gotta get on that, Dr. Amber. You gotta get on
We
that.
got.
Plus you have a very calm voice. I feel like you'd be an excellent audiobook.
I I hear all the time, and I keep getting that question too. And like y'all, I get it because I prefer audio as well. We got to push my publisher. They said, hey, let's see how this one goes first, and then maybe we can do an audiobook.
Okay.
So I
Okay. You're
will.
forcing me to read, but I'm willing to do it for this. I'm willing to do it for this book. I need it. I know a lot of the parents I've been talking to know that they need this right now, especially right now. So it's truly perfect timing and like the best topic. So I feel like this was like a little mini sesh for me. Thanks, Dr. Amber, for pre-summer call me here in anticipation. But it's definitely, been top of mind for me and trying to like just, I know that I continue to like see these same patterns. So trying to break those patterns, especially as like these stressors are increasing, and really hopeful that everyone finds your book as helpful as I think I will. I know I
So
will.
I cannot. I'm so excited for this book because again, you and I have had these conversations about how it feels when you're so overwhelmed and you're overstimulated and like you said, sometimes it feels like it just keeps happening, and that has been the case for me too. And so writing this book for me was so therapeutic. It really helped me to become a better parent and improve and really feel like I can get to the other side and be the parent I want to be. And so I'm so excited for people to experience too, but also wanting you all to know that you're not alone. Like, you're not a bad parent. Nothing wrong with you. It's okay to make mistakes, and I'm really hopeful that this can be a tool in your toolkit to help you feel more confident, but then also to give you the tools and the coping that you feel like you need. So I'm so excited, and thank you, Chelsey, for this conversation. This was
Yeah,
amazing.
thank you for having me.
You.
And I'll for sure see you on June 22nd at your
Mhm.
book launch, which I'm so excited about, and have I think like a dozen moms joining me for. I feel like every time I have a flip out, I'm like, Dr. Amber, when is your book coming out? I was like, please, can you have that released sooner so I can start reading and putting those into action? So I'm looking forward to actually being able to utilize it, and looking forward to celebrating you. And I know this is the finale of your virtual book tour, so kudos to you. I just am in awe of all that you've accomplished, and I know uh, it has not been an easy feat because you are working and you're a mom and you are rolling out this whole freaking book for other people to be calm and wonderful parents while also, it sounds like being that calm and wonderful parent yourself. So I truly am so honored to have you in my life and so proud of you and so excited for this book launch to happen. So if you have not pre-ordered your book yet, Dr. Amber can hold it up and show you what you need to pre-order, and it arrives on Tuesday. It's my next order on my Amazon cart. It's my next one. So I'm real excited. Yeah.
Well, yes, yes, and thank you, Chelsey, for the kind words. I cannot wait to celebrate with you on next Saturday, the 22nd. Yes, my book party is going to be in DC. Chelsea's going to bring her people. There's other people going to be there, so I'm so excited. But thank you so much, and you all. If when you order your books, when you get them, please be sure to share it on your social media, tag me to it so I can see that you got it, and let me know when you start reading. I absolutely want to be a part of the process of you all diving into this book and, letting me know how it feels for you. Cannot wait.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
Thank you.
I will see you soon, Chelsey.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.